Stella Strong, Diana Dare, Diana Drew, Helen Hale, Nan Nelson, Nan Drew. These are all names that Edward Stratemeyer proposed for a character that he created in the late 1920s. He had had great success with the Hardy Boy mystery series that he created, and he thought a similar series for girls might also be a big success. Ultimately, he and his publishers settled on a name, Nancy Drew. Over the next 75 years, a rotating collection of ghostwriters brought the world 175 Nancy Drew mystery stories. They also brought us spin-off series like the Nancy Drew Files, Nancy Drew Girl Detective, and the Nancy Drew Diaries. Not to mention dozens of movies, TV shows, comic books, video games, etc., etc. Collectors of the Nancy Drew novels look for every variation that was ever published, but the most highly sought after are the original 1930 editions with the blue hardcover and paper dust jacket. In 2023, I sold a set of the first 6 original books. They were in terrible condition. Stored in a basement, they were covered with mildew and the dust jackets were torn to shreds. I put them in my freezer for a few days to stop the spread of the mildew, and I threw in a drop of wintergreen oil to try to cover up the smell from the basement. Because of their condition, I wasn't really able to figure out a value. I had a hard time determining how much I should sell them for. I ended up listing them for $120 and they sold just within a matter of hours, so I think I probably undervalued them. In 1991, Applewood Books started publishing facsimile editions of the original books. I picked up 7 of these Applewood editions at a thrift store for less than $2 a piece about 3 months ago. They aren't as valuable as the original pressings, but I did sell them today for $86. Okay, welcome back to my workbench. I'm gonna get these 7 books packed up today. They sold along with, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 other sales. It's a little confusing because I have one local pickup that's still showing up as needing to be shipped, but it's actually gonna be shipped later. But let's get these books packed and then we'll move on to the rest of our items. So yeah, the $86 these went for, so I'm gonna put them in a kind of a heavy duty box. I have these ones here that hopefully they should fit in. And this box, these boxes are double wall, pretty thick. I think probably overkill for this set of books, but $86 is not nothing. I paid, let's see, how much did I pay? I think I paid like $12.88 for these 7, and then sold them just now for, well, $86 plus shipping. These boxes are they're so thick, the cardboard is so thick that it's kind of hard to keep the flaps from popping back up again after you taped it down. So I'm gonna put some extra tape on these sides, try to keep it in place. I'm not sure what Baxter is. That's where these boxes came from, a company called Baxter, some kind of healthcare supplies of some kind. I don't know, maybe I have 100 of these boxes, and I don't use them very often because they just add a lot of weight to the shipping, which isn't always necessary. In this case, you know, I'm thinking about putting a piece of bubble wrap around each of these individually. I don't think that's probably overkill. That's unnecessary. But I will use some stretch wrap to try to hold them together. I just don't want them banging around inside the box, hitting up against each other and damaging the book in any way. So I'm going to try to lock them in place with this stretch wrap. This stuff is great. The stretch wrap is really good. I think it's on this. I think maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it feels like it's on the roll backwards. Like it's always a little uncomfortable, and maybe it was a manufacturing defect that they put it on the roll in the wrong direction. I don't really know. But it's still got quite a bit left. But I might order another one to see if it goes in the other way. I've gotten kind of used to it now. It feels like I'm doing it right, but when I first brought it home, I was having a hard time stretching this stuff around because I wanted to be moving my hand in the other direction, but the roll doesn't roll that way. Okay, this will all fit in here, and then I'm gonna just load the rest of this box up with packing paper. I could use bubble wrap here, but the bubble wrap is much more expensive than the paper, so we'll stick with the paper for now. It's Friday morning right now. I usually pack at night so that I can put my boxes out on the porch for the carrier to pick them up when I go to work. But I had a lot of vacation time. I've been taking off every Friday for the last, well, probably at least 2 years. So I usually wait until Friday morning to do any packing. And then I can take those orders directly to the post office myself and not make the carrier have to pick them up. My local post office here, the people that work there are so nice and friendly. It's good to, I feel like it's good to make a in-person appearance every once in a while to say hello to them. Okay, I don't know why these boxes are made this way, but the top flaps are shorter. They're shorter and they leave this gap in the middle. So I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap cardboard and put in there. This one will do. Might as well tape it in place. So, yeah, I don't know why they would make them that way, but that's how it is. Okay, let's get some tape on here. I'm going to do the same thing here, tape these flaps a little bit more than I normally would. Okay. And then I'm going to cover up some of these barcodes, like this one and this one, so that it doesn't cause any problems with the post office sorting machine. I've seen a lot of rumors that the post office is going to say no boxes with any kind of branding on them at all, but I can't see how they could enforce that. Almost every time I go into the post office, there's somebody coming in there who's never shipped anything before. They don't know anything about the process. They come in there with no box, no shipping materials at all, and then they're required to purchase a box right there. And I'm sure that those boxes at the post office are much more expensive than other places. And sometimes I think maybe I should keep a roll of tape in my car because I see it so often. And I could just say, let me help you, because sometimes they come in with a box that has their item they want to ship, but it's not sealed, it's not taped up. Or they might try to be taping it with Scotch tape, little thin tape like this. And the postal worker at the counter will say, we can't ship that. That's not going to work. And then they have to buy a roll of tape there that they probably have no use for. They're never going to use again. So I thought about, I've got another one of these tape guns. I could just keep this in my car and have it available with a roll of tape on it to help people out when they need it. But so far I haven't done that. Okay, marker. This is going to be, what's her name again? Nancy. This is a heavy, 8 pounds, 11 ounces. I'm gonna put this label this way. And the measurements are 16 by 11 by 8. So I'm using my cutting mat that has this ruler on it to measure. And this is going to RJ. Put the buyer's initials on the box. So once I print the label on the printer, I can match it up. I can match the buyer's name with the initials on the box. And I don't screw anything up, send the wrong item to the wrong person. Okay, what's next? We're gonna go and pick these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items and then pack them up, get them ready to go. All right, we'll start with location cube 6D. 6D. And then I'll tell you about these things as I pack them. I'll tell you where I got them from, how much I paid for them, how much I sold them for, and how much actual profit we're expecting to make on them. CL Wright 5C. Oh, I forgot these were here. CL Wright. Okay, then W4C is over here. W4C right here. Some more books. Yeah, this is a book heavy day. Got 3 out of 5, 3 out of 6 orders are books. Come back for that. Cab 4A. What's in here? Cabinet. Cab 4A. Good. These are small ones. Remo Ambassador. Lot of 3 Remo. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna start at the top with these sunglasses. So these are Coach sunglasses. They were left in the lost and found at my work, and when they were cleaning it out, they could just, every once in a while you gotta just get rid of that stuff. I was able to get these. So they were free. Maybe they'll fit in this little box. Yeah, I think they will. I don't know where this Vans box came from. Little baby Vans. I forgot where I got that from, but it'll come in handy right now. So I got these sunglasses for free. I got another pair. I think they were Brooks Brothers at the same time, and I sold those a while ago. These Coach ones I kind of expected to get a little bit more for. I think I had them listed for maybe $24.99, probably something like that. And then I got an offer today for $20. I've had them since, well, I've only really had them since December. It feels longer than that. This is February now. Oh, no, it's March now. So I've had them about 3 or 4 months. I'm willing to take an offer, $20 for something I got for free. That's a pretty good deal. So hopefully they won't get confused by this Vans box. I have heard stories of buyers receiving their item that they bought off eBay in a box that has a brand name on it, and then they send a message to the seller. Like in this case, the buyer might contact me and say, "Why did you send me these Vans?" without ever actually opening the box. And then the seller would have to reply and say, maybe try opening that and you'll see what's in there. But sometimes people are hard to deal with. So I've heard people say that they just sent their item back, said, I never wanted a set of Vans for babies, and they just return it to the seller without ever even opening it. So hopefully we don't have that problem. I'm going to cover this little barcode. Actually, I'm going to just cut this because it's a little too big. So, I can't imagine where I got this box. Most of the boxes the used boxes that I get come from where I work, or from there's a local not-for-profit organization in the Chicago area here called EcoShip, and they collect donations of used shipping materials and then give them to people who need them. Okay, sunglasses. And this is gonna be 5 ounces, and it measures 7 by 5, 754, and it'll be shipped to the buyer whose initials are JM. So I'll put that right there. Next, these little drum heads. I'm going to measure these to be sure. They're supposed to be 10 inches. I have a lot of these heads, so I don't want to ship the wrong one. Yeah, 10 inches. I don't want to ship the wrong one to the buyer. And I've labeled them, but as I had so many of them, I was adjusting my inventory labels as I went along, and I think that this is an early one where I didn't really have a good system in place. Will this fit in here? No. These are too small. I know I bought a bunch of pizza boxes for these drum heads, and I had them in a lot of different sizes, and I could swear I had some that were specifically intended for this size drum head. You can see here's a whole stack of drum heads that I haven't even listed yet. I should get to those this weekend. I think I'm not going to go out doing any sourcing this weekend. I'm just going to concentrate on listing. I hesitate to call what I have here a death pile, but it is getting a little out of hand, and I think I probably should be doing my best to get some stuff listed instead of spending money buying new stuff. Okay, how's this gonna fit? No. Okay, we're gonna resize this box a little bit. I don't really like doing this way, but this is what we're gonna have to do. I just bought this little thing. It's supposed to be for, you would use it to trace a pattern, and it puts little holes in your paper, like if you were doing a sewing pattern. And then you can use charcoal to punch through the holes and transfer your pattern onto the fabric that you're getting ready to sew. So that's really what it's intended for, but it works just as well as a box resizer. Just puts little perforations in the cardboard. So I bought those. They only sell them in packs. I think it was a pack of 5. So I only need 1. So I just listed the other 4 in my eBay shop. So if you want to get If you want to get a little handheld box resizer, head over to my shop. The link is in the description. Okay, good. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. I made the skinny side skinnier when I was trying to make the skinny side wider. So we'll start over. So I think I feel like I should have some that are more appropriate for that size, but I don't know what I did with them. These are, what size are these? Oh, well, whatever, we'll just go back and do that again. Okay, last time I put my perforation on this side when I meant to put it on this side, so we'll do it again. And hopefully this will become an appropriate size. So I'm basically just moving this pre-made flap over here, an inch or two over, to make this box more of a square than a rectangle. I think you can see how it works. Okay, now let's try it. Did I do it right this time? There we go. Put these flaps down, and then this. That way the flaps are on the inside. It isn't ideal to do this kind of reconfiguring, because these boxes are really, you know, somebody engineered them to hold up exactly the way they're meant to. But you got to do what you got to do. But the first time I ordered pizza boxes for these drum heads, I must have gotten, maybe between 200 and 400 of these drum heads in all different sizes, and so I needed to come up with some way to ship them. These are small, but some of them are much bigger, 14 inches, 18. I think I have some all the way up to 30 inches. So I came up with the idea of pizza boxes. Sometimes when you order stuff online, you don't really know, it's hard to tell what you're getting, you know, if you can't see it, feel it, touch it. So I ordered a bunch of these pizza boxes. They were advertised as pizza boxes, but when they came, they were that very thin cardboard, like more like a donut box, a pastry box. And so I was able to return them, so I didn't have to lose any money. And I made 2 orders of those kind of boxes by mistake. The first order, they said, just keep it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna refund you your money and you just keep those boxes. The other one, they wanted me to send the boxes back. So I'm not sure if it was just the customer service person that was dealing with the return. One of them went easy on me and the other one wanted me to return them. I don't really know the reasoning. But now I have a bunch of, you know, donut boxes that I don't really have a good use for. I have to figure out what to do with them. I never thought about it till just now, but maybe I can just sell them on eBay. Okay, this feels good. Pretty strong. I'll put one more piece right down the middle. And then this is drum heads. It weighs 1 pound, 5 ounces. They look light, but they're almost always over a pound. Even just one single drum head sometimes is more than a pound. So this is 12 by 11 by 5. And these will go to SB. Put this out of the way. Next. Okay. This is a community cookbook, the Dutch Kettle Cookbook. Recipes from friends and family. So these kind of spiral bound, or sometimes they're, this would be considered a comb bound. Some of these can be exceptionally valuable if you find the right ones. I don't know how to find the right ones, but typically if you go to an estate sale, a kitchen will have a dozen of these. And the estate sale agents don't always consider them very valuable, so they'll sell them for 50 cents a piece or maybe $1 at the most. Back here. So it's not too much of a risk to just pick one up and see if it's, take it home for 50 cents and find out if it's worth anything. And if it's not, you typically can lot them up and put a box of 10 or 12 community cookbooks and get a good sale on those. This will fit in here, I think. So I usually pick them up and then I'll list them for maybe $24 a piece and just see if anybody is interested. And then if they're not, I'll lower it to 12 or something like that. And then after a while, if that doesn't sell, then I'll just pull it down and put it together with some other books. In this case, this one I paid 73 cents for, and I sold it for $11.69. Those drum heads sold for $33, and I got them for free. Okay, how do I want to do this? This is only $11, so it's not a high value item. But I'm going to wrap it in a little bubble just for the sake of it. I usually try to think of if I ordered something, how would I want it to be delivered? And I'll try to do the best I can. It's not that difficult to do it right. So I'm going to wrap this in this, and then I'm going to wrap it in paper too. I probably could have just put a couple pieces of cardboard around this and put it in an envelope. It would have been just fine that way. And I do that plenty of times. But this book is a little bit big, and I don't think I have any envelopes that it would fit in right now. Let's put more paper in here. I've got some of this scrap paper that I'm just going to stuff down in here. And then we'll get the book in. Put a little more paper around the top. Close it up. Now I'm just going to tape these ends closed, and then we'll be just about done with this one. I should have grabbed 2 of these boxes because I'm going to use another one next. Okay, I usually do one flap that way, and then I'll do this tape all the way across, this thinner tape. I wish I could just be the kind of seller who only needs one size box. I have one item that I sell, and then I can just go into the post office with a big stack of boxes that are all exactly the same. But unfortunately, I'm dealing with the inventory that I can get. And some of it is big and some of it is small. Cookbook. This weighs 1.5, 1 pound, 5 ounces. 13 by 11 by 3. I use these boxes quite a bit, so I put some dummy boxes here with the measurements on them, so I don't have to measure it every time, and I don't have to try to remember the measurements. And this is going to DLK. Okay, next one. I was excited to find these. I got these at the Salvation Army, the 2 books from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in hardcover, you know, early printings. Unfortunately, they are book club edition books. So this would have been like a monthly subscription service. They send you a new book every month. And it's not that they are not valuable, but those book club books are not as valuable as the standard first editions. In this case, let's see how long have I had these. It feels like a long time. Well, I guess almost a year. I bought these in April of 2024. It's early March now. And I paid $6 for the 2 of them. I think I had started the listing at maybe $99 for those 2. I know this was one where I just kept lowering it because it was getting plenty of viewers and watchers, but no bites. Nobody was interested in buying it. And I always feel like if you have a lot of watchers, if you have a lot of views and you have a lot of watchers and no purchases, then there's something wrong with that listing. And in most cases, it's probably the price. So I lowered that price down $10 a time, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then I finally sold it today for $66. So I paid $6 for it, sold it for $66 for those 2 books. We'll look at after I print the labels, after we buy and print shipping labels, we'll look at the net profits on each of these items and see how much money goes to fees and other things. I'm glad to see these go. I was hoping that somebody would want these. This is a great book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's a podcast where it's a guy who is a real kind of professor of fantasy and science fiction literature. And every once in a while he'll do a class on a specific novel. And they did one. Let me find it and I'll tell you the name of it. I can't think of it right now. It's called Mythgard Academy. I don't know. Can I get this close enough? Mythgard Academy. And right now they're going through The Name of the Rose. I don't know what that is. I'm not listening to that. But they had a really great series of episodes on The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which you think of as just sort of it's a comedy book. It's a book of humor, science fiction and humor. But it really is a book about the meaning of life, and is there a meaning of life? And listening to someone who is a deeper reader than I am, explaining basically every scene in the book deals with the meaning of life, and is there even one? So it's a deeper book than you might have thought. On that podcast, there's another series about Dracula I thought was really good, very interesting. And my favorite book, Watership Down, they did a whole bunch of episodes about that. So I would, if you're interested in fantasy or science fiction, I recommend that podcast. But a good portion of it is Tolkien, you know, Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings stuff, and I'm really not. I mean, I read all those books when I was younger, but I'm not going to be reading all of the appendices and all of that stuff. So I spend a lot of time talking about Tolkien books that I've never even heard of, that I don't think are probably, that's not the kind of thing I want to read. So I skip most of those. Sometimes I've even listened to a few episodes of books that I've never even read, you know, just hear what somebody else thinks about them. So yeah, check that out. Hitchhiker's Guide, 2 pounds even. Could have got that a little lower, I think, but it's fine. I don't feel like unpacking that to take a little bit of paper out to get it down below 2 pounds. This is going to IS in California. Okay, what have we got left? So the last thing we have, a few days ago, I was talking about getting a return. Well, on one video, I packed up this VCR DVD combo player. On another video, it was returned. They said it did not work. I plugged it in, tested it out. It seemed to work just fine to me, so I relisted it. The next day, someone bought it again, and this time it's going to be a local pickup, which is pretty unusual for me. So tomorrow night, I'm going to meet someone to get them that VCR. And then I had another one that I got at the same sale, and it sold the next day. Make sure this is the right one. This is a brown car. I don't know what that is, but I believe it's this one, Toshiba. But I better check my SKU number and make sure. Okay, N2A, yeah, that's the right one. So I sold this one just the next day. So since I'm gonna give that guy that one in person, I've got a box here ready to go that I can just put this DVD player in and get it shipped out, and it won't take me too long. You know, cutting all of this, I usually cut styrofoam like this if I have it to fill all the sides of the box. In this case, the person who bought it and returned it did not include the top that I had put on here, so I'm going to consider whether I want to go out to the garage and cut a piece of styrofoam, or if I want to put some bubble wrap or something instead. I don't really want to go out there. It got pretty cold here in the Chicago area in the last couple of days. It's supposed to be heading towards spring, but it just seems like it's getting colder every day. So I'm going to see if I can fit. I had some larger clear plastic bags like this one, which maybe I should just use this one. He won't be needing it. This comes with the owner's manual. This one has the manual and the remote. This one's a little bit better one. That one I sold for $60. At first I sold it for $66, and then when I relisted it, I listed it at $60, sold it in less than 24 hours. This one's been listed not too long, definitely less than a month. I paid $15 for it at an estate sale, and I sold it for $99.99 plus shipping. I think they're about the same size, so I hope this fits in this box okay. I didn't test it at all, but I guess I'll be testing it in a minute. Okay, this bag doesn't really fit on here. I like to put some kind of protection from the weather, because even though this is it's going to be in a nice box, that you never know if it's going to get rained on or something. And I don't think these are going to be big enough either. So I might have to skip the bag today. I would put one oh yeah, this will fit. I'll put one going this way and then one from the other side, and then tape them in the middle. I do have it wrapped with stretch wrap, and I guess I could just wrap it completely around all sides. That would probably keep any damaging moisture out. but I have these 2 bags. I'll just go ahead and use them. Good. I'm gonna put some tape just to hold it in place. I'm contemplating, the other person who's doing this local pickup, I'm trying to decide, do I want them to come to my house? Because he could come and plug the thing in. We could get it all set up and then he could see if it works or not, and then I wouldn't have to worry about another return. If he plugs it in and he decides he doesn't want it, then I'd rather have that happen than have him take it and then have to figure out some way to meet up again if he decides he doesn't want it. So we'll see. This one is a little bit bigger than the other one because these blocks fit in here just fine, and now they don't. So I really don't want to have to cut that. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna use up all these scraps of foam and plastic and bubble wrap and just stuff it down in here in this little crack. I probably couldn't get that foam in there anyway because of the cord is there, power cord. So the last time, the other one I shipped, I had styrofoam on all sides and then I had another sheet of styrofoam on the top. But I can't imagine why the person who returned it would keep that foam, but he did. There's a lot of stuff that buyers do that I can't imagine why they do it, but this doesn't make any sense to me. If somebody sent you something and you want to send it back, why not just send it back exactly the way it was before? That seems like it would be the easiest thing to do. I'm going to put that there. Okay, now what do I want to do? I don't really trust these air bubbles for something like that. I do have a bunch more of these, so maybe we'll just fill it with this. I don't know where these came from. This styrofoam wrapped in black paper. I think maybe it was something that my wife did, a project at work. And then when it was done, she brought it home to me. I don't really remember. But, cutting this stuff makes such a huge mess. Even just breaking it like this is sending these little bits of styrofoam beads all over the place. So I really don't like to cut it in the house. But I also don't want to go out there in the cold. So I'm going to fill this up as best I can, and then I'm sure it'll be fine. I should look to see where it's going. If it's just going across the state border or something, I won't have to worry too much about the packing. But if it's going to California or Florida, then I might want to spend a little more time packing it up. In this case, let's get this in here. Get this a little bit. Come on. Come on, come on. Can you see all this fluff? Gets everywhere. Okay. I think I have. I'm going to put a couple of layers of cardboard on top because there's still a little space before the flaps hit. And I want this to be as tight as it can be. It doesn't have to be beautiful. If it's beautiful, that's great, but it doesn't have to be beautiful. So I'm just going to pack this and get it done. Okay. We'll put a little sheet of bubble to raise this cardboard up a little bit more, and then I'm going to tape it up and we're going to call this good enough. That's good. Yeah, that is good. That feels good. This box has been through the mail a couple of times now. I shipped it and then it came back. So I'm going to tape it up pretty intensely. I don't want it to be coming apart in any step of the journey. Let's see, where is it going? Pennsylvania, not too far. You know, it could be worse. I shouldn't save these big ones for last, because then I'm dealing with all my other boxes getting in the way. Let me put this back before I forget where I got it from. I've got a kind of a big stack of DVD players and, or rather VHS players, DVD VHS combos and VHS VCRs that I just need to get tested and sold, you know. They usually sell pretty fast. Even if they're broken, you probably can get $30 to $40 for a good one that's broken. Sell it for parts. I believe there are quite a few people on eBay who buy broken machines, fix them, and then sell them for a much higher price. So I've been thinking about, if I buy them in the future, don't even test them. Don't advertise them as working. Just advertise them as 4 parts, even if they work just fine. Save myself some time. Make a little less money, but I don't have the anxiety that this is going to arrive and the buyer will say it doesn't work. A lot of people seem to suspect buyers are buying these machines, popping them open and taking a little part out that they need to fix their machine and then selling it. I had a suspicion the person who bought this one and returned it. This one is a recorder, so I thought maybe they had a videotape that they needed to get onto a DVD, so they just bought mine, used it to do their project, and then sent it back to me, because I tested it before I shipped it, and I tested it after it was returned, and it was working fine in both situations. They're pretty easy to find. I see them a lot at yard sales and estate sales and thrift stores. But there is some anxiety associated with selling them. Okay. This is the original label that I shipped it out to. It went all the way to Arizona and back. So I'm going to cover that now. And I'll write on here, DVD. It's going to be heavy. It weighs 14 pounds, 4 ounces. And it measures, I don't think I'll need this anymore. It measures 20, this should be 20 by 15. 20 by 15 by 9. So we'll get this on the scale and then we'll decide if we want to, if this is going to go USPS or maybe FedEx or something. Okay, let's print some labels. So I have my spreadsheet with all my sales right here. I'm going to buy the labels and put the value, the cost of the label right in the spreadsheet. And I'll tell you how much each of these items earned us. So I usually go up to the top corner where there's a little bell, notification bell, and the first notification is going to say pay to ship now, and that leads us straight to the eBay bulk label shipping tool. So let's start at the bottom. Right now it says UPS ground. That's what was selected. We'll see if that's what we're going to do or not. 20 by 15 by 9. Okay, UPS ground is 1626. Ground advantage is only 1483. So we're going to do that. I know it's sort of against eBay policy to change your shipping after the fact, but I know it's a gray area whether you ship it, as long as you're shipping it away that's an equal shipping method. So if you say you're going to ship it UPS and you ship it FedEx, that should probably be fine. My suspicion is that most buyers aren't even aware of how the item is shipped to them. They just get it in the mail and they open it and they're happy, or they're not happy sometimes, but hopefully they're happy. So it's taking a risk that the buyer might be upset and they might file a grievance against me on eBay by choosing to ship this USPS instead of UPS, but it's a pain to go to the UPS store, so I'm going to do USPS. That's where I'm going anyway. Okay, now we got this Nancy Drew books. Oh, let's put this in. 1483 goes into the spreadsheet, and that Toshiba VCR DVD combo earned us $75.88. So let's hope that does not come back. The next thing is the Nancy Drew books. They're 8 pounds, 11 ounces. My estimate is pretty close here. 16 by 11 by 6. I have a medium mail right now. I'm going to check. So often, if you're shipping some kind of heavy books, Ground Advantage is cheaper than medium mail, and this is a better shipping service that includes $100 worth of insurance, where medium mail does not include any insurance and should probably be slower. So this is an instance where changing the shipping method will not be a problem. It's going to save me money and it's going to get better service for the buyer. Okay, those 7 books earned us $60.95. Then we're on to the Hitchhiker's Guide books, which weigh exactly 2 pounds. 2 pounds even, 13 by 11 by 3. This also says medium mail. Let's check this. So in this case, medium mail is $5.38, and the Ground Advantage is $9.31, so almost $4 more expensive. So then I have to decide, is the $100 of insurance worth it to spend an extra $4? In this case, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to go ahead and ship this medium mail. So I don't feel like it really takes longer. I haven't seen that medium mail in practice takes much longer than any other shipping service. In fact, I haven't seen any real difference between any of the services, whether it's priority or anything. They all kind of get there about the same time. So I'm going to go ahead with medium mail on this, and that set of books earned us $48.73. Now we got this cookbook. This is 1 pound, 5 ounces. This one is probably going to go medium mail too. We'll see, because it's pretty light. So it's $5.38. That's exactly the same price as the other one, and that's $8.05 for Ground Advantage. So we're not going to do that. This book only is valued at about $11. So in this case, this book only earned us $7.47, but they'll add up. Now, Drumheads, 1 pound, 5 ounces, 12 by 11 by 5. In this case, Ground Advantage is $6.34. So we'll put that in here, and these Drumheads earned us $29.34. Now, sunglasses. This is the final thing. These are only 5 ounces. And this box is small, 7 by 5 by 4. $4.41 for grounded Vantage shipping. I'm gonna put that in the spreadsheet. Put it right here. Put it right here. So those sunglasses that we got for free earned us $17.61. So let's print these labels, put them on the boxes, and get out of here. $44.72 shipping today. I'm trying to figure out how to associate a cashback credit card with this eBay account so that I can get cash back on all these shipping labels, because I probably spend, I haven't looked at how much I spend on shipping, but every day it's at least $40. So how much does that add up to over the course of a year? And if I could get 3 or 5% cash back on that, I'll take it. But I haven't had the time to figure it out. I don't know how to work it. Okay, come on. Okay, this is going to print out pretty soon. Hopefully. I'm having more and more trouble with this, opening these PDFs and getting them ready to print. It just takes so long and I don't understand what it's doing. Okay, here we go, print. Okay. I should put these, I like to keep them in order when I set these boxes out so that the labels go right on in order and I don't have to think about it too much. But this one's going to TC, so thank you, TC. This one's going to RJ. Oh, that's heavy. Thank you, RJ. IS. Thank you, IS. DLK, thank you. SB. Uh-oh. SB, yeah. I thought that said JB. I can't even read my own handwriting. And then JM. Thank you, JM. Okay, that's it for today. I'm gonna load these up in the car, head over to the post office. I might grab myself some lunch. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll get some more sales tonight. I do usually pack on Saturdays and ship on Saturdays if I can. So hopefully we'll get some sales for that and then we'll be back with another video. So thank you so much for watching. Bye. We'll see you again soon.